In this tutorial, we're going to be talking about motion tweens. Motion tweens are similar to classic tweens in that they do pretty much the same thing, but the motion tweens have a little bit more bells and whistles. So first I converted my object to a symbol by using F8. With the motion tween, I'm going to right click on my keyframe and I'm going to say create motion tween. Now it automatically created a range for me to work with. I can bring my arrow to the very end of that line and I can press and drag it left or right depending on how fast I want it to go. Now if I wanted it to start at if I wanted there to be a change at frame 15, I would click on frame 15. Nothing is going to show up other than this little red part right here. But now I'm going to press and drag it over here. Notice that I have this line that is showing me the path that the animation is going to be taking. Now if you have your arrow or your selection tool selected, you can bring your arrow close to that line, and whenever you have that little bendy line right by your arrow, you can press and drag to add a little bit of arch. So notice that now I have a keyframe right here. Now the one thing about motion tweens that you can't do is you can't just press and drag the keyframe to adjust the speed. What you can do, however, is clear this keyframe so that it no longer has that that stop. So I'm going to right click on that keyframe. I'm going to go to clear keyframe and position. So now it's just going to return to its original position. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a keyframe here at 20, or a position rather. I'm going to press and drag it across the screen. Now one of the things that I can do with a motion tween is I can resize it. And I can do it one of two ways. I can either use the free transform tool, or if you hold down Control and tap on the letter T, you're going to get this transform tool. So now, as long as this is constrained, if I change this to 20%, then both of them are going to change to 20%, so it's going to stay the same exact shape, only smaller. So I'm going to come over here to 40, press and drag it up, and if I want to change it back to 100%, I can do that. And I'm going to end up right over here at 60 and press and drag it over. But I'm not done there, because what I can do is I can bring my, if I have my selection tool selected, I can bring my arrow to the end of these lines. Whenever you have that little bendy mark, you can press and drag it out. So now I can press enter and it gets smaller and bigger. So just like in the classic tween, I can also make it rotate. So I'm going to click in between my keyframes and I'm going to say that I want it to rotate 5 times and press enter. So now in between the first and last keyframe, it's going to rotate 5 times. The last thing I'm going to show you is how to use the 3D tool. So I'm going to click on my last keyframe. I'm going to click one time on my symbol, and then I'm going to select the 3D rotation tool. Right in here you have a couple of different lines that you can use to modify the 3D effect. I can press and drag here to rotate it around. I can use the red one to flip it vertically, the green one to move it left and right, or I can also come down here and if I go around in a circle, the sky's the limit. So now if I start at the beginning, click in the first keyframe, press enter, there I go. We have a motion tween with 3D effect.